Hi yogis, welcome to Restorative Yoga for the lower back and hips. My name is Katie, I'll be your yoga teacher and your Reiki practitioner tonight. Before we get started, we're going to need a couple of props. We'll need a blanket. We'll also need either 2 cushions or 1 bolster or 2 pillows. So whatever you got on hand, you can use it. We're going to begin by taking our mat up against a wall because we're also going to be using the wall tonight as one of our props. So as you get situated and comfortable, you can come to sit down on your mats and just come to Sukhasana, easy cross-legged position. Find a place where your back is nice and comfortable. I invite you to close your eyes and take a big inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head, making the spine nice and long. Let's take a few deep inhales, breathing into the belly, and exhaling from the belly, making each breath longer and deeper. And as you tune into your breath, notice where your mind is at this evening. If there are a lot of thoughts or distractions swirling around the head, you can give yourself permission to set those aside for later. And return to focusing on your inhales and on your exhales. Allowing your mind to become clear for your practice. Take another deep breath in and full breath out. And inhale. Slowly circle the arms all the way up over the head. Reaching up, extending fingertips towards the sky. And taking the palms together, take a big exhale. Draw the hands down to your heart. If there's an intention that would serve your practice tonight, I invite you to set that intention now. Our intention will be our mantra this evening. And if nothing comes to mind for your intention, then I offer you the word peace. And after you set your intention, exhale, release the hands down to your lap. We'll move into our first asana tonight. We're going to come into child's pose. You can take the blanket and bring it underneath your knees. We're going to take the knees wide and bring the toes together. We're going to walk the hands forward towards the front of the mat. Take a big breath in, and then with your exhale, sink the hips all the way down towards the heels, lowering the forehead down. And if you find that this is a little bit uncomfortable, I'll show you some modifications that you can do for your child's pose. First, the most common one, if your forehead doesn't come all the way down, you can take a cushion or a block and bring it underneath the forehead like this. And if your knees are tight and you feel like you can't quite get your hips to touch down, you can take another blanket and roll it up, and then take that right underneath the knees in the back here. So you have some support between the knees. You can also take your cushion and bring it underneath your torso, taking one cheek down. So you're in more of a supported child's pose. So wherever you are at, however you're comfortable tonight, let's relax down into our child's pose. And begin to notice your breath. We will be in our child's pose and at each asana tonight for up to 5 minutes. It's important that you're nice and comfortable. And as we're in our child's pose and in every asana tonight, the mind will probably become distracted, and know that that's okay, that's normal. You can gently bring your attention back to your breath and back to your intention. Taking nice deep inhales. Engaging the 3-part breath. Breathing into the belly. Then the rib cage and the chest. Exhaling first from the belly. Then the rib cage and the chest. With your next exhale, I invite you to bring your attention to all the parts of your body that are touching the floor. And with every exhale, imagine your body sinking deeper and closer into your mat and deeper towards the earth, feeling the body ground down. Continuing the long and slow breaths into the belly. Take 3 more deep breaths in and out in your child's pose. And with your next inhale, slowly lift up your head. Begin to walk your hands back. If you had a blanket between the backs of the knees, you can go ahead and set that off to the side. We're going to be moving down onto the belly from here. And we will be down on our belly for a little while. So you can take your blanket and make sure that you have some padding for your belly and for your legs. We're going to come to all fours first, and then begin to scoot the knees back. And with your exhale, bend the elbows, come all the way down to the belly, untucking the toes. We're going to breathe in, lift up the head and the chest, and then take each elbow underneath the shoulders. Hands are going to come out in front here for Sphinx pose. We're going to press down through the hands, take a big breath in and draw the chest forward. Slight lift of the chin. Eyes can be open or closed. Taking a moment to notice how this asana feels in your body. And bringing the attention back to the breath. As you notice your breath, bring your attention to your exhales. And with each exhale, once again feeling ourselves ground down closer to our mat. Feeling the earth below us, offering us support. And after your next breath, you can shift your awareness from your exhales and begin to notice the slight pause after you breathe out. A little space between the exhale, right before the inhale. This point of our breath is known as suspension. Notice the suspension of your breath after you breathe out. And see if you can extend that suspension for just a moment longer before you take an inhale. Let's take 2 more breaths in and out. And we'll all take a big breath in through the nose. And with the exhale, slide the elbows out to the side. Let your breath out through the mouth. Sink the forehead down. And very slowly slide the hands back towards the ribs. And inhale, press all the way up to hands and knees. For our next pose, our blanket will need to be a little bit wider. You're going to be moving into frog pose, which gets into the hips and the lower back. This is an intense pose, so I encourage you to modify it however you need to. I'll show you a few different options. First option for full frog, you're going to take the knees a little wider than hip width apart. Feet are going to flex, and then you're going to sink the hips down. You can move the arms out in front and work to lower the torso down. You're also going to be feeling a stretch in between the thighs. If this is a little bit too much, you can take your cushions or pillows and bring them in front as support for your torso. And that way we're not pressing so low to the ground. It should ease up on the intensity. And if this is still a little bit too much, then your third option is to actually come down onto your back for happy baby. Taking the knees in and then reaching for either the calves, the ankles, or the feet, and working to lower them down towards the ribs. If they don't come all the way down, that's perfectly fine. But find a position that will work for you for about the next 5 minutes or so. As you settle in, begin to notice your breath. You notice if your breath has changed as you have shifted into this asana. If you find yourself tensing up in your muscles, you can take deep breaths into the belly and exhale. Imagine tension releasing from all your muscles. And allow yourself to find some relaxation. Listening to the sound of the breath. After your next exhale, you can shift your awareness away from the sound of the breath. And begin to notice your inhales. Notice the parts of the body that are moving as you breathe in. Notice the parts of the body that move as you breathe out. You can continue to play with the suspension of the breath at the bottom of the exhale. Maybe extending the suspension for just a moment longer. And if you are doing so, also bring your awareness to the space right after the inhale, before the exhale. This is the retention of the breath. And if you're extending at the bottom of the exhale, you can extend the pause at the top of the inhale. Balancing both parts of the breath. If you have one cheek down, you can go ahead and switch your head. Continuing to breathe. We'll take 3 more deep breaths in and out in frog pose. With your next inhale, you can begin to first lift up the head. You can start to slide your hands back under the shoulders. Begin to press the chest up. And then you can work to wiggle the knees closer together. We're going to come all the way down onto the back from here, so you can move your cushions off to the side. You will need a cushion or a blanket or pillow for where we're going next. Come all the way down to the back. Take the legs in front, take a deep breath in. And with the exhale, begin to lower all the way down. We're going to move into supported bridge pose from here. So we'll take the feet and plant them next to the hips. I'm going to press the shoulders down. Take an inhale and lift the hips up. And then we'll take our pillow, a rolled up blanket or a cushion, and slide it underneath the hips for supported bridge. You can lower the hips down onto your support. You can stay with the arms by the sides and the knees up. Another option is to take your arms into a T. You can also take one hand across your heart, one hand across the belly. There's an option to extend the legs out straight as well if you're looking for a stretch across the top of the hips. Wherever you have settled, we'll begin our time in supported bridge by noticing how it feels in our body. Noticing all the parts of the body touching the floor. And noticing all the parts of the body that are feeling a stretch. If you haven't yet, you can now bring your focus to your breath. This time noticing the 4 parts of the breath. The inhale, the pause after the inhale, and the exhale, as well as the pause after the exhale. Noticing our breath keeps us fully present in the moment and fully present in our bodies for our practice. It allows our mind to have a break from all the thoughts and the plans that we have running through our head every single day. It allows our mind to rest on just a single point of focus. And it allows everything else to fade away for just a short while. Let's take a few more deep inhales and exhales in supported bridge pose. And wherever you have brought your arms, you can bring them back to the sides. If you have extended the legs, you can go ahead and bend the knees and plant the feet down. Shoulders and the feet are going to press down. We're going to shift the hips up just enough to remove the support from underneath and lower the hips back down. And from here on our back, we'll move into reclining pigeon pose. So we're going to take the right leg, we're going to lift it up and then take the right calf across the left thigh. We're going to flex the right foot. That will protect the knee when it's in flexion. And this might be enough right here. You might already be feeling a stretch in the right hip, so feel free to stay. If you would like a little bit more stretch in the right hip, you can pull the left knee in and you can grab the back of the left knee, clasping the hands, pulling that left knee in and actively pressing the right knee away. And you don't have to go as far or as deep as you can possibly go here. We will be here for a while, so find a comfortable place in this pose that's a balance between effort and ease. Notice where you're feeling the stretch in your body. And if you're feeling a lot of resistance in your hip, you can send your breath into your hips, almost like you're breathing from that part of your body. Taking deep inhales and taking deep exhales, letting your exhales release any tension, any resistance to this asana. If you feel like your right hip has started to loosen and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can pull the left knee in just a hair closer to your body. Begin to refocus on your breath. And also know if this pose or any other pose becomes too intense and you want to come out of it, feel free to do so. Feel free to release whenever you feel ready. If you notice that your mind is starting to wander, know that that's normal and that's okay. I've noticed that the mind will wander the more resistance that we have to a particular asana. So if we're feeling a lot of resistance in our body and we're feeling the slight discomfort or intensity of a stretch, the mind will try to distract itself and start thinking of other things. And if that's happening, just notice it and notice what's coming up, what distractions are coming into your mind. You can acknowledge those distractions and just turn your awareness back to the asana and back to the breath as you're ready. Let's take a few more breaths on this side. And with your next exhale, you can release your knee. Go ahead and take the left foot down. If you want, you can extend the right leg up and point and flex the foot to compensate for the hip opener we just did. Feel free to also just extend that right leg out on the mat, move the toes back and forth, whatever you need to do to bring some feeling and some more comfort into that right leg. Taking just a moment to pause and notice how the right side of the body feels. And after noticing whatever you notice, we'll move to the left side. We'll bend the right knee and plant the foot. Taking the left calf, flexing the foot, taking the calf across the right thigh. And this side might be different than the other side. This side might be a little bit more open or tight. It just depends. We're all asymmetrical in our body, and that's okay. So from here, feel free to stay, or you can lift up the knee and bind with the back of the knee. Taking deep breaths, noticing the stretch that you're feeling. And shifting your awareness just briefly from the sensation of the stretch, notice your breath. Notice if your breath has changed as you moved on to this side of the pose. Another thing that can happen if we're experiencing some resistance to an asana, not only will the mind distract itself with various thoughts, but the breath can also be affected. Instead of taking long, deep breaths into the belly, the breath might become more shallow and it might not go into the belly. It might just be happening in the upper part of the chest. When we breathe from the upper part of the chest, over time that creates stress and anxiety. When we send our breath into our belly, we're stimulating the part of the nervous system for rest and digest. So we're calming stress, we're calming our nervous system and releasing anxiety. So wherever your breath is at, send it lower into the belly. Lengthen it. And we'll take a few more breaths on the left side here. And as you take your next breath out, gently release your right knee. Bring the foot down. Option 2, extend the left leg, bringing it up or bringing it down to the mat. You can roll the ankle, point and flex the foot. Let's go ahead and lower both legs down and extend both legs for just a moment. Now, as we noticed how our right side of the body was feeling before, let's notice the left side. And notice both sides of the body and how they feel. And for one of our last asanas of the evening, we're going to be taking our legs up the wall. So we'll plant the feet. You can come up for just a moment. I like to take the blanket and bring it up next to the wall so that there's padding for the hips. So we're going to come up next to the wall and begin by placing your feet. Come lower all the way down here. And from here on the elbows, we're going to wiggle the hips back and forth, bringing them closer to the wall. And once you find a comfortable place, you can extend the legs up and relax your back down. I invite you to close your eyes for this one. You feel the whole back press down into your mat. If you're holding any tension in your knees, you can relax your knees. Maybe they get a little bit of a bend as they loosen up. And as you become nice and comfortable in this asana, I invite you to scan your body and notice any parts of the body that are holding on to any sort of tension. We'll bring our awareness to the crown of the head and begin to work our awareness down. So you can shift your awareness from the crown of the head down to the forehead. And notice if there's any tension between the eyebrows. And softening the space between the brows. Moving the awareness down to the jaw. Releasing any tension here, letting the jaw become loose. Allowing some space between the teeth. Our jaw can hold on to quite a bit of tension as we move through our day, especially if we have points of stress or if we find ourselves wanting to say something but holding our words back instead. You might tighten the jaw and clench the teeth. And if you find that your jaw has been tight today, you can take your thumbs and bring them on either side of the jaw where it hinges. And just apply some light pressure and move your thumbs in circles. Massaging the jaw, moving the thumbs clockwise and counterclockwise. And once you notice some of that tension melting away from the jaw, you can release your hands and continue to scan your body, moving your awareness down, noticing the shoulders. Shoulders are another place where we tend to hold tension and stress. So if you notice that your shoulders are up towards your ears or clenching in any way, I invite you to drop them down, move them away from the ears. And sending your awareness down your torso into the belly. If you have been engaging your abdominals for this practice, go ahead and let your belly go. Allow your belly to move fully and completely with your breath, unrestricted and open. Moving your awareness down into your hips. Feeling all the muscles in your hips soften and become relaxed. Taking an exhale, moving your awareness to your legs. Feeling the muscles loosen and soften in the thighs. Relaxing the knees. And feeling the calves and the ankles relax. And finally bringing the awareness to the feet. Feeling the feet and each one of the toes loosen and become relaxed. Let's take 3 more cleansing breaths here. With our legs up the wall. From here, we'll be moving into our final resting pose, Shavasana. If you would like to do your Shavasana with your legs up the wall, feel free. Otherwise, you can come down onto your back with the legs extended. So to transition, we will bend the knees and place the feet on the wall. And come up onto the elbows and begin to wiggle the hips back. And scoot all the way back so you have enough room to relax all the way down. And as you get comfortable for your Shavasana, I'm going to sit up and prepare to send Reiki. If you're not familiar with Reiki, I send Reiki for pretty much all of my live classes during Shavasana. It is an energy healing technique that works to relax the body and the mind and balance and bring harmony to the subtle energy of the body. So not just your body, but also to your chakras, to the part of the body that isn't visible to the naked eye. So if you would like to receive Reiki tonight, you can set the intention to receive. Wherever you're at for your final resting pose, let's all take a deep breath in through the nose. Let a big sigh out through the mouth. Feel your mind become calm and relaxed. Feel your body sink down deeper into your mat. Allow your awareness to focus on each inhale and each exhale. Inhale a deep and long breath in, and exhale to release it. If you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, you can slowly start to bring your awareness back. But feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. I want to take a moment and thank all of you for joining me this evening. I hope you have a great rest of your night, great rest of your week, and I hope to see you next time. If you have any requests, drop them in the comments. Thank you so much. Namaste.